I'm Anne Marie, otherwise known as Ms. Cercello, and I am an artist, a dancer, an art educator, and I have decided to create this channel called Breakthrough Drawing because in all the 23 plus years that I've been teaching art and drawing, um, probably the most common thing that I come across are students that are convinced that they cannot draw or they are no good at it or they don't like art because they're not good at it. And what I have consistently found is that once my students and people not only are introduced to a new kind of whole definition of what art is, what drawing can be, um, and are invited into the process in a playful, experimental way. Not only do they learn how to draw, but they have this whole new relationship to drawing and art. So that's really the whole point of this channel. Is I wanted to share some of what I've learned over the years with you guys, with you all, and for anybody who either wants to learn how to draw or wants to be more creative or wants to just have fun making art, drawing, and wants kind of, a map into how to go about it. That's what this channel is for. And then for anybody who already knows how to draw or who already loves drawing, but maybe you're just feeling like you just want to try something new or you just want to kind of like mix it up and kind of reinvigorate your practice, this is also for you. So the main thing is just to be open and to have fun and to give yourself grace and approach it in a playful way. And if we do that, no matter what it is, we're always going to have more fun, I think. So, and what I always like say to my students is, hey, it's just paper. It's like, yeah, paper is trees, and we want to be mindful and appreciative of that. But also, in the scheme of life, there are so many things that have so much more weight, bear so much more weight, and this is one place that drawing and art is one place where we can maybe relax a little bit and just enjoy the process. And chances are that if we do and when we do, we might actually surprise ourselves and create things that are much more beautiful and amazing, and at the very least discover something about ourselves that we didn't know before. So um, all right, that's just my little intro. So what this channel is, I am basically going to be posting a series of videos that just introduce a few different approaches and kind of experiments, and I like to think of them as experiments, things that you can try, and then you can expand and morph into your own way. But these are really a lot of these experiments or exercises that I'm going to show you are things that are actually very tried and true. They're things that come from, way back. Classical drawing instructors have always used to teach their students how to draw. And there are different ways of approaching drawing, and there's different techniques, different modalities. This is definitely coming from a more, well, there's a very famous, revered drawing teacher that I recommend his books, Nicolaides, The Natural Way to Draw. So this is coming from really that pedigree, that tradition, and I feel really fortunate that I had some incredible drawing teachers in my life that really completely opened my eyes to all that drawing can really be. And, a lot of us have these very limited ideas about what drawing is and about what drawing should be. And I think a lot of times those limited ideas can really get in our own way. So, for me personally, what I learned in my process as an art student was revolutionary and completely freed me up to um, realize that I had a lot more drawing skill or talent inside me than I even knew. So, and also just liberated me to express myself in my very own, unique personal way. So, I think that this technique is also a way that we can bring out our own personal voice in terms of like our own unique, I call it your hand, your signature, your style, whatever word you want to use. But the enemy of creativity, I think, is frequently comparing ourselves to others. So what we really want to do, the goal, I think, is like we want to know who we are, who know. This is really like I'm getting deep here, but we're going into like know thyself. So who, what, and who are you? What do you have to say? So we can admire other artists, we can learn from them, but ultimately, every mark we make is going to be, it's going to come out in our own unique sort of voice or language, if you will. So every mark is going to express something that lives within us that only we can share. So I think that's all I'm going to say for right now. So the first exercise I want to show you guys is blind contour drawing. Blind contour drawing is something that Betty Edwards talks about in her book, which is a classic, The Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. And this exercise or experiment, I like the word experiment, is a way of tapping into the right side of our brain, which is the side of our brain that is more spatial and that does not is non-verbal. So this is the side of our brain that really perceives things just in terms of lines, shapes, angles, textures. It perceives like the physical characteristics of things and spatial relationships. It does not analyze information verbally or conceptually. So what's great about that and why that's useful is that if we're really trying to draw something in life, something that exists in so-called three-dimensional reality, like this bottle or any three-dimensional object, living or not, we totally lost my train of thought. In order to truly draw it in its like unique perspective from our point of view, we need to just be able to only see it as a visual combination of lines, curved lines, straight lines. How long are those lines? How short are those lines? Do they curve? Do they bend? What do those lines do? What are the angles? What are the relationships? And really get out of our thinking mind that's analyzing and thinking about the content, the meaning, the symbolism. The right brain doesn't get into all that stuff. The right brain is only concerned with, like I said, spatial characteristics and relationships. So which is essential if we want to really truly take something in, and represent it in lines. So blind contour drawing helps us do that. Why? And why is it called blind contour line? Okay, well, because the way we're going to do this drawing is we are going to choose something to look at and to draw, and we are only going to look at the object itself. And especially, we're going to look at the contour lines that we see that define that object. We are not going to be thinking about the object, thinking about it in its entirety. We're just going to be taking it line by line, edge by edge, and drawing those lines and edges. And the reason we call it blind is because we're not going to look at our paper at all. So we're completely going to remove that expectation that of the product, of trying to make it perfect, of trying to make it look like something. So this is really a practice, it's a process, and we just completely let go of trying to make it right or look accurate. Okay, so the purpose of this is it deeply trains your receptive gaze, so your ability to deeply connect visually with an object and then perceive and take that in line by line, edge by edge, and then also to unify your hand's response to what your eye is seeing and your brain is perceiving. I know that's a lot. I know it's a lot. So just probably the best way for me to show you this is just to do it. And then I want you to try to do it. And the more you do it, I think the more you will understand like what I am talking about. Okay, so really what we're doing is we're sort of surrendering any expectation about what the final product looks like, and we're just surrendering ourselves into this practice of seeing, of really seeing in this deep receptive way where we're not projecting any kind of content or meaning onto the object we are drawing. We're really trying to be just being as neutral as we possibly can and faithfully record what it is that we are seeing, the physicality of what it is that we are seeing. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to say, because I feel I should as an art teacher, define for you contour, the term contour. Well, we know what a contour is. It's, it describes, right, the form of something, like the contour of my shoulder, of my arm. It goes up and it goes down and it goes up again. So contour lines are lines that describe a three-dimensional form. And they can be lines that go across the surface, or they can be lines that describe the edge of an object. So it can be the outline of my arm, my elbow, but it can also be a line like this where you see a little indentation, maybe a line where you see a wrinkle. A line that goes across the form is also a contour line. So the edges of my hair that define the shape of my hair, those are contour lines. The lines of the wrinkles of my blouse, those are contour lines. Okay. So I'm just going to make a contour line drawing of my face. And these bright lights are making my vision blurry, but I'm going to do the best I can. And maybe this is perfect because, it also occurs to me that I work with students of all kinds of ability levels. So regardless of your ability level, regardless of your vision, how acute it is, you're even, I I have like arthritis in my right hand. So we may have all kinds of things that we struggle with or that challenge us. And just this is great because you just start from where you are, and you just use what you have in you, and you start from there. Okay, so this is really about permission, and it's just about like I said, it's look at if we I think of it as an experiment. We think of it as an experiment. We're just gonna enter into it faithfully and then see what we come back with. Okay. So you can start anywhere that you want. I'm going to be drawing my face and my head, and I'm going to start with the top of my head, my part, and I probably will stop talking because it's really difficult to talk and do this well. So I'm just tracing the edge of my hair, my shoulder, my curve. And there's different ways you can do this. You can do what's called a continuous contour line, where you never lift your pen up. So when you come to like a cross contour line, a line that goes over the surface, you just keep drawing whatever it is you see. And if you need to go back over and repeat lines you've already drawn, so be it. That's okay. You just keep drawing whatever it is that you the edges that you come across with your eyes. Wow, I'm really struggling right now with blurry vision. So we try to go pretty slowly with this, because even though we're not able to see what it is we're drawing, we still are trying to be sensitive and accurate as possible, mirroring the curves, the length of the lines, the angles that we see. And the edges of those lines. And what I love about drawing like this is, to me, it's actually somewhat somatic. Like I feel like I can physically sort of start to feel what it is that I'm drawing. The curves and the angles. And I'm just going all over the place with this one. Okay, I'm gonna hop over here. So you might notice I haven't looked down once. I am just literally feeling the lines. So it's almost like I can feel with my eyes. I want my hand and my eye, which really means my brain, right? Because your mind is perceiving what your eye sees. But I want my hand to be very instantly synchronized with what my eye is seeing. I really hope this pen is marking, because I can't see what I'm doing. I don't see my paper. So I'm just trusting what's happening. I'm going to go back up here, draw my glasses. These lights are really bright. And it's actually like, I find this really relaxing to do, because I have I've experienced, doing this, and I've done it many times, and I trust because I've seen the results of it, the positive results of this practice. And so my computer just turned off, so I have to go back and just see if I can put that back in there. But I was drawing the eyes and the glasses. Let me see. Notice I didn't even say my eyes. It's interesting because you get to a very interesting kind of experience of objectivity when you draw like this, where you really feel like a separation. I feel it. I don't know if you, after you do it for a while, it really taps you into this awareness of the witness presence. And those of you that may meditate, you may know what I'm talking about. But it's like releasing the kind of judgments around, our self-consciousness and attachment to what we look like. And you're just drawing it. You're not really like judging it. And okay, let me do my necklace. I hope this just, see, even I have like some attachment because I want this to come out well for you. But I am trusting and just doing it according to the method. Okay, there's my top, there's my other shoulder, and I am labeling I'm speaking, what I'm drawing, and I'm doing that more for you because, if I were just doing this by myself, I wouldn't probably be doing that as much. Oh my gosh, I just feel this might just look like a mess. I hope you can see something from it. Okay, I'm going to stop there and see what I have created. Wow. Wow, that's really kind of cool. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this. Let's see, because there's a few things on here that I really like, that I really appreciate. And I'm just going to point out. One eye is over here. One eye's way over here. The nose is here. The main thing that I appreciate about these drawings is the sensitivity of the marks and the lines. And it becomes just a record of this visual exploration of a form. And once in a while you see very specific, very descriptive lines that accurately mark, like, let's see, that would be this side of my face. So that line that marks this side of my face. So you can see that there is this accuracy there, this sensitivity that it's recording. And that is exactly what you want to see. So again, it's just a matter of like acclimating ourselves, getting used to seeing drawings that look like this. But what I encourage you to do is just make many, many drawings of many different things and use many different tools. So use thick pens, thin pens, markers, pencils, crayons, like Sharpies, whatever, and draw many, many things in using this blind contour technique. And I promise you that as long as you do it slowly and mindfully, you will be amazed at how your observational drawing skills improve. And you will start to also notice things just in your daily life that maybe you didn't notice before. Shapes, lines, textures, colors. So it also really wakes up your visual acuity and sensitivity. So that's it for now. And thanks for visiting me and for checking into my channel. Um, there's more to come, and I have all kinds of like really fun, cool exercises, experiments, and projects to share with you. One thing I would say, if you're going to do this with children, like if you're a parent and you want to do this with homeschooling, um, for homeschooling for your kids, there are ways that you can really invite them into this and just really like do it with them and really stress like the fun of it, the playfulness, and the humor in it. Because if you really look at it, these drawings can be really silly. They can be funny and fun. So there's all kinds of ways to make this just take the pressure off so that it's not a stressful thing. It's not scary. It's fun. It's a game. It's a game we're gonna play, and we're just gonna see what happens. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Bye. Until next time. I'll see you again.